Hi guys, Vinny here. The eagle-eyed viewers among you may have spotted on Strava that recently I've been using a Wahoo ELMNT Bolt for some of my activities. And the reason for that is because one of my friends lent me his to try out because I wasn't really satisfied with how my Garmin performed. And that was partly due to the fact that from a certain update the Strava Live segments haven't worked and I wasn't able to correct that. And I also had some other issues such as losing the power meter signal, freezing up completely while riding, unsuccessful updates, etc. So generally I think well, I don't have very good experience with Garmin devices, to be honest, in terms of software. And they have a lot of unnecessary features which I've never used, so that's why I decided to try the Wahoo ELMNT Bolt. And yeah, I gave that unit back to my friend, and I've arranged basically a dealership right from Wahoo, so now I can sell Wahoo products in my shop. And this is my first very own Wahoo ELMNT Bolt. And I also got rid of the LED Givo. I also wasn't very satisfied with that and got a Kicker 17, but more on that in a separate video. So let's just unbox this ELMNT Bolt and see how it looks like. From the get-go, you can see that it's a premium product and has a very nice appeal to it, and the build quality is excellent as well. But despite that, it costs a fair bit less than an equivalent Garmin would. And if you read the reviews, basically it does everything a bit better and a bit more simple, in a bit more simple way, except navigation, but that's the single feature I've never ever used in any of my Garmins, the Edge 1000 or the Edge 520. So yeah, and according to Wahoo, this should also be a bit more aerodynamic. So yeah, but that might be a marginal gain, but DC Rainmaker tested that and there are some actual gains to be made there. So this is the unit. The form factor is very similar to the Edge 520. No touchscreen, luckily. I hate touchscreens on these kind of devices, they're unreliable. Yeah, very similar quarter turn lock system right here, and a pretty small black and white screen. So I'll just undo this little plastic foil in here. This is our device now unboxed. As you can see, it has this little wedge-shaped design and it continues onto the mount itself. 3 buttons in the bottom, 2 on the side, and the power button is right over here on the left. Small TFT screen. The startup time is basically 1/3 of the Garmin Edge 520. That's pretty annoying on that one. Also a little LED array here. And actually the whole unit can be configured via the smartphone app, the ELMNT app. As you can see, I have the screens right here. I don't like using multiple screens, so I only have this one and the Strava Live segments enabled here. So this is my main screen. Another neat feature of the ELMNT is you can actually zoom in if you want to focus on a specific metric, and it will zoom that in based on the order of which you put your field into. That can all be configured by the smartphone app. You don't have to mess around pressing buttons here, and it's done in real time while connected through Bluetooth. It's very, very cleverly designed and extremely simple. I think I haven't spent more than 2 minutes configuring this, even though I was doing it for the very first time. So for the sake of user friendliness, and well, general usability and the level of intuition you can operate this with, it's pretty damn good. And yeah, much better in this regard than any Garmin device. So yeah, this button basically just flips through the pages. This starts your activity, this is your history. I've done one very short ride after work yesterday, and you get this sort of information from all kinds of data, or so, yeah. So everything displayed here. There's no recovery advisor or for example the virtual partner and other useless features which the Garmin uses. It's just what you want, nothing more, nothing less. So you can set up navigation, but I don't really need that here, so not very important. Then if you press the power button again, there you have some settings which aren't operated by the phone. Yes, so this is my heart rate monitor, my power sensors, etc. You can also add some planned workouts. I've yet to try that. And you can set the LEDs to basically cycle through from green to red based on your heart rate, power, speed, etc. But that's not really important for me. What is important, and one of the big reasons that I chose this device, is its high compatibility when it comes to Strava segments, because well, I think now I'm fast and fit enough to take every single KOM that is in my area. So in the summer I'm going to try just that. And yeah, with this device it's going to be much easier with seeing how the segments are actually going on, whether they start, whether they finish, if I got the time or not. Yeah, this is a very useful feature for me. Yeah, so these two pages, and yeah, here you can see the LEDs in action, and there we go, shut off. Another selling point of the ELMNT Bolt is the battery life. I think some people said that it's at least twice as much as any Garmin device. So far I haven't been able to fully test that, but yeah, there is no reason to not believe that. Accessory wise, you don't get too much. This is not a bundle pack. You get this little tab style mount, USB cable and some zip ties to attach that, or you get a standard out front mount, and this is the aero version. So let me just pull this one out. Okay, so this is our ELMNT mounted in the out front mount, and this is the super aero configuration, and fits on basically any standard diameter bar. Actually, the only annoyance I have found so far is that the mounting standard is different from Garmin, and that's not really a problem if your bikes can use this kind of round clamping area, but if you run proprietary bars and stems, it's a bit of a problem. So on my TT bike I have a KH TT mount, and for this you can actually buy the replacement insert to fit the Wahoo, although this one rotates in 90 degrees, so you can actually clamp that in. I'm going to show you how. Yes, so if you have one of these mounts, basically it's just a Garmin mount but rotated 90 degrees. So the TT version, you can still clamp it. It's a bit finicky with one hand. Yeah, it's on now. It's floating around a bit, but it definitely won't fall out. So until my replacement tab arrives, I can use this on my TT bike. Yeah, this is it. For the Madone, well, all Bontrager blender style mounts. These use a GoPro type interface. So I bought this from Shapeways, 3D printed little fork for this, and it works in the same quarter turn manner. But I have ordered one that exactly matches the shape of the Wahoo, like the standard mount. So that will go on over here and over there, so I can use it on all of my bikes. This is the only bit of thinking that you need to do when converting. Another point I'd like to make is that you can actually secure the Wahoo with a little bolt that comes with it, and with the standard mount then it's bolted shut, so if you stop at a cafe it can't be stolen. That's one thing, or not that easily. And the second thing, more important in this regard, is if your computer is mounted to your bike securely, then it counts in as the bike weight. So if you are chasing the lower UCI weight limit, then that's definitely a handy thing. With my aero bikes that's not really a concern, but if you're building a climbing bike for racing, then it's definitely a good thing. Another niggle I have found with the Wahoo so far is in terms of updating. So if you want to update and upload your Strava segments to the ELMNT Bolt, then basically you have to be connected to Wi-Fi, and the network we have here is not protected by password, but it's hidden. So these kinds of networks are tricky with a lot of devices, and the Wahoo won't connect it to it either. But I've solved that by creating a mobile hotspot from sharing 4G on my mobile phone, so that just solves that. Okay, this is a little bit of a first look on the Wahoo ELMNT Bolt. If you'd like to see more later on, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. Also, if you're interested in the Kicker unboxing. It's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.